I'm Brian Winnekins at the Irrigation Association and National Groundwater Association's joint convention in Las Vegas. Thank you to the Irrigation Association along with National Groundwater Association, also Dairyland Equipment Services, Annabis Silo, the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, and BASF. Ashley Gaussman, your representative serving Northwest Wisconsin, for helping with our broadcasts. I am with Jay Robbins. He is the current president of the Irrigation Association. He will be past president here coming up at the end of the conference. And Jay, thank you for joining us today. Well, wrapping up 2016, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that Irrigation Association has done. One of them was the strategic plan. Tell us a little bit about that.
We every 3 years the association undertakes a strategic planning session at the summer meeting. So this just happened to be our 3rd year, and we bring in all our board of directors, we bring in our certification board, and then we bring in some special invitees from within the industry. Bring them in, and we go through a 1.5 to 2 day strategic planning session and really pick our brains. We evaluate the mission, the vision of the organization, but then we also look at other areas that are of concern for our industry, and we make sure that we're focused where we need to be.
I know one focus, and it seems like a lot of organizations are having this, is finding employees. Your members are having the same issues like a lot of members of NAFB or a lot of members of National Corn Growers Association or any of the association, finding employees for their members. Absolutely.
So one of the things we did prior to the strategic planning session was we sent out a survey to members and to some of the folks within the industry to kind of get a poll on what keeps people awake at night, how we're doing within the industry, but then what are some of the concerns. We also had 4 ag focus groups. This year we held 4. It's the first time we've done those. We started in Fresno, California back in February in conjunction with the Tulare Ag Show. Went to Lincoln, Nebraska, then to Orlando, Florida, and we finished up the year in Austin, Texas. And we did the same thing there. We brought in folks from within the industry, whether it's water purveyors, some of the members of our industry, designers, distributors, manufacturers, and some research folks as well. And we sat them down and we picked their brain. And then the main question that we asked was what keeps you up at night? What's the big concern with your business or your entity? What really is the heartburn? What keeps you up at night? And the big thing that came out was we had about 4 or 5 things that came out in every instance that were identical. Not necessarily weighted the same, but the top 4 were consistent throughout the 4 locations we went. And the primary was workforce development. And so, like you alluded to in your issue, is we have a shallow pool of employees to draw from, and so whether it be from a distributor and a designer standpoint, a contractor, manufacturers, or even farmers, we all have the same problems. Is we find it very hard to find qualified individuals. And so the foundation, the Irrigation Foundation, has a very good education and training program already established. So it was encouraging because it allows us to state that we know we're headed the right direction. We just need to make more efforts in reaching out to the universities, the community colleges, trade schools, that type of thing, to try to help develop these programs that will educate these young folks as they're coming out of high school and into the workplace, that we have some folks that have some experience or at least understand what we're trying to do.
And the Irrigation Association, also the foundation, is also taking some scholarship applications now. That's kind of a direct result of that.
That was another thing that came out of it. We're going ahead and really making more offerings with our scholarships. We also have a E3 program where we have about 40 kids. I say kids, they're college students or workplace individuals that are here at the show this year as part of our E3 program that the foundation has, where they're bringing in individuals pretty much on a scholarship to attend the show and understand more about what we do, in hopes that as they go back to their training, they will turn their opportunities into irrigation technologies where we can introduce them into the workplace upon graduation.
Talking with Jay Robbins. He is the 2016 president of the Irrigation Association here in at the convention in Las Vegas. And you mentioned those egg forms. So what were some of the other things that the agricultural members of Irrigation Association were kind of concerned about.
Well, another thing that came out is a concern that maybe we're not doing as good a job of getting out the information about irrigated agriculture. We have the droughts on the West Coast. We actually have some short-term droughts in the East Coast, the central part of the United States. And so through all of that, there seems to be a diluted message on what the value of truly irrigated agriculture is. There's some misconception out about how wasteful water is, how much water we use in agriculture, and what not having water available for agriculture will actually lead to. So we need to do a better job of getting our message out. And so we actually just established a new periodical this previous year. It's called Irrigation Today. It's both a printed and electronic format. And so we have a vehicle now for which we can do a better job of getting that message out.
Talking with Jay Robbins, he's president of the Irrigation Association, the 2016 president. I know that during the general meeting, impressive, over 5,000 in attendance, at least for the Irrigation Association side. Having this joint meeting with the National Groundwaters Association has actually been pretty successful here in Vegas.
It has. It's been very successful. We kind of were a little concerned. It was been 30 years since we've been in Vegas as the Irrigation Association. The last time we were here, the experience wasn't quite as good as it has been this time, and so there's been some reluctancy to come back to Vegas. But Groundwater has approached us years ago about doing a joint conference with them. And it takes some time. We were booked out 4 years in advance, so it's taken some time to schedule all of that, and we did this year. And the initial feedback we got was we should expect somewhere around a 15 to 20% increase based on what Las Vegas says just having a show here will do. As of this morning, before we had our general session, just yesterday's show floor, we're tracking in that range of numbers, but double-digit growth, 10 to 20% growth. Our education classes are up over 20%, the registration for those. So it's been tremendous. And, they're an organization about the same size we are. They're about 4,500 attendees at a trade show. They share we have about 300 to 350 exhibitors. They have the same. We do share some exhibitors, but it's not that many, maybe 10%, 20 to 30 of those were shared. But we have a huge trade show floor this year. It's an open format, so you can walk from National Groundwaters into the irrigation and vice versa. And it's been a really, really well-received. The short-term feedback we've gotten from just one day is why don't we do this more often? It's been great.
So is that something that both organizations, after this year's convention, are going to re-explore about maybe doing this again down the road?
Well, that's to be determined. There is some interest to look at doing this again, but I think both organizations will go back and look at get feedback from their membership. We both do surveys from our exhibitors and our members or those attendees, and accumulate that data and look at it and see what it says. But the indicators right now, just before even day 2 of the show, is it's been really good. Lots of good feedback from both the exhibitors and from the folks that are just visiting. So it's been very positive.
Again, Jay, congratulations on your year as president, and you'll be like me. We'll be kind of both past presidents here for 2017, so I guess we join a new club, but congratulations again.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a wild ride. I'm sure yours has as well, but thank you very much.
That is Jay Robbins. He is the president of the Irrigation Association from the Irrigation Association and the National Groundwater Association's annual convention in Las Vegas. I'm Brian Winnekins.